prominent politicians under the microscope now for discounted loans they received from Countrywide Financial. Now, you may recall that Countrywide was at the center of the subprime loan mess some months ago. So did these politicians do anything wrong? Fox News contributors Michelle Malkin and Bob Beckle are here. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Bob, I do want to hear you spin on this one, but I'm going to start with Michelle because I have a feeling she's going to say that even though it's not illegal, it certainly doesn't look good for these politicians to have gotten sweetheart deals.
Thanks, Gretchen. You said it all for me. These things do not pass the smell test by any means. And it's not just that they got the discounted loans, but it's the fact that they were able to secure them at all. In Kent Conrad's case, he got a loan discount on an apartment complex that any normal American would not have been able to get. And I think the other main point here, of course, is that these are not naifs who are 21 or 22 years old who've never been through the loan process before. They're asking us to believe that they had no idea that they got this preferential treatment. When we're talking about, in Ken Conrad's case, somebody who is a sitting member on the budget and finance committees, is in charge of writing tax laws that affect these companies, and is a savvy real estate developer. And in the case of Chris Dodd, we're talking about somebody who is the chairman of the banking committee, who is responsible for pushing through a massive housing bailout that is going to pay for billions of dollars worth of loans, again, affecting the very companies that these people have received this preferential treatment from.
So in response, Senator Conrad decided that he would donate the money that he saved to Habitat for Humanity. Now, Bob, I want to hear your angle on this, because Michelle has pointed out that not only are these two guys politicians, but they sit on these banking committees. It doesn't look good, does it?
Gretchen, let me give you my spin here, as you said. Okay. It is not illegal, but it is dumb, and just really dumb. And not only that, the name of these loans, if you remember, I think they said they're for friends of Angelo. Now, that would make me think, to begin to think right away. You know, it's like saying that the mafia is not involved in the garbage business. Not that Angelo is involved in the mafia, don't get me wrong, but the point is that you just don't do this kind of thing when you're sitting on this. You don't do it anyway. And I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot of politicians scouring their mortgages right now to make sure that somebody didn't do that on their behalf. And in some cases, that may have happened. But the fact is, you just don't do stuff like that. I mean, it just, particularly when you're on the banking committee and the finance committee, it's just stupid. Now, I will say this, it's bipartisan. You got to remember that Bush's Secretary of Housing, did the same thing.
No, it is not. No.
Can you guys,
I'm going to stop the spin right there, because it's not bipartisan.
In the break.
One Republican, at least 6 or 7 Democrats.
Seconds.
This is
We're
not
going to have more with Michelle and Bob in moments.
Bipartisan.
Right. We're back with both our featured guests, Michelle Malkin and Bob Beckle. Both could have their own spin-off series if we actually could get you a pilot going. But two big stars talking about a very big issue. First off, John McCain yesterday, Michelle, comes off his issue about not drilling and says, I'm going to give the states an opportunity to lift the moratorium on offshore drilling. An important first step, or a flip-flop?
Flip-flop-flip. He was, of course, at first for offshore drilling, and then he was against it during the 2000 presidential campaign, and now he's for it again. You know, the problem is with the Republican presidential candidate that he has as much credibility in speaking about this as the Democrats, unfortunately. Now, you know, I have a lot of people telling me, well, you're always criticizing him. It's a no-win situation. But, yeah, it is a good first step. But I think that, you know, he's weakened on this, and
because
and it would have been better if he had the
close to $5 a gallon, Michelle.
Flip, flop, flip, you know, when he started.
But gas never been so high. Bob?
Well, I mean, look, first of all, this goes back. I mean, they've been talking about energy independence since the Johnson administration. Every politician talks about it, Democrat and Republican, nothing gets done about it. The one problem that McCain has got is he's still not willing to drill in Anwar, which is Alaska, and that's a position the Democrats have taken over the years as well. So that's a problem for him to try to make a comparison to Obama. But the answer here, I think, is not, we're not going to drill ourselves out of this problem. I think nuclear energy is something that we ought to do that. We ought to do a crash course on putting nuclear power plants up, and they're done in Europe, they're doing in China, and that is a secure source of energy for us, and not nearly as dangerous as people think. I grew up next to the first one, and look at me, I came out sane, well, sort of.
But Bob, wouldn't it send a message potentially to Saudi Arabia if we started drilling here that, oh, maybe we're not so dependent on you?
Well, I mean, the answer to that is there's a lot of things we could do to not be dependent on them. And we are consuming this energy. The answer is there a way not to consume as much energy? Right. Yes. I mean, the fact is we don't have to do this.
And Michelle, one embarrassing thing for Barack Obama is the fact that every day out on the stump he talks about the high cost of oil and all that stuff, and how bad President Bush is. Barack Obama voted for the Bush energy bill, the one that he is now against.
Yeah, nobody has clean hands on this. I think progress is the fact that Bob Beckle is not blaming this all on right-wing bloggers and conservatives for once, and so I do applaud him for that. But look, you know, we hear this talking point, and Bob repeated it, that we can't drill ourselves out of this problem. Well, we can't tax ourselves out of this problem either, and we can't keep doing short-term Band-Aid gimmicks like gas tax holidays either. We got to start thinking long-term on this, and that's exactly what lifting this offshore drilling ban would be.
We had to keep them 40 miles apart in different studios. These
right-wing bloggers are just making this so difficult for us. No, I'm only kidding, Michelle. Thank you for that compliment. I do not blame right-wing bloggers. I don't blame anybody except politicians who aren't willing to take a tough stand, and none of them are.
Well, she's not smiling, Bob. But anyway,
who's not smiling?
There she is. Okay, great to have both of you together today, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, guys.